Hey, hello everyone. Good evening. Uh, it's my pleasure to welcome all of you to today's webinar. Uh, my name is Yerkin Abduraimov. I am a community leader, one of the community leaders on the Open Central Asia Interest Community. And we are thrilled to have you join us for this insightful session uh, with my colleagues, with other colleagues from other countries of Central Asia. Now, there are 7 community leaders on the Open Central Asia Interest Community. Our goal is to foster learning, collaboration, and professional growth. Again, thank you for taking the time to be with us today. And before begin, let me briefly outline the agenda for this webinar. First, uh, there will be introduction. Then there will be a presentation from our guest expert. I'll introduce you a little bit later. And there will be Q&A session, which will be facilitated by our community leader, Madra Kushpakova from Uzbekistan. And there will be some announcement, important updates about upcoming events and opportunities. Now, without further ado, let me introduce our distinguished guest for today, Ugilkhon Kakilova. Ugilkhon Kakilova is from Uzbekistan. Ugilkhon Kakilova is a TESOL certified secondary school English teacher with 12 years of experience and a PhD researcher in comparative linguistics. She has completed the methodology for TESOL course on the open platform and actively trains teachers in remote areas. Welcome, Ugilkhon. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yerkin. It is nice to meet you with you all. Can I share my screen?
Uh, yes, you can share the screen. I'll allow you to share this. I'll let you share this screen. Now you can share the screen, Ugilkhon.
Yes, I am sharing now. Okay, my screen is visible for everyone. Yes?
Yes.
Hi, I think Mr. Yerkin, your microphone turned off.
Yeah, we are hearing.
Okay, so let me start. So, thank you very much again. Mr. Yerkin introduced me already. I'm Ugilkhon Kakilova, and teachers, it is very honor to be here today to discuss very important topic that can transform our classrooms, social emotional learning, SEL, in language teaching. Before we start, I want to ask you a few questions. You don't have to answer it. So, okay. Yes, now it is working. Thanks. So, have you ever heard students who know the answers, but they are very too shy to speak? And also, have you seen students struggle with confidence, even though they are capable? And as the next question, have you noticed how some students easily give up when they make mistakes? And have you had students who find it hard to work with their classmates, with their group mates, or do not respect different opinions, different ideas? These challenges are not like academic problems, they are emotional and social problems that affect students' ability to learn a language very successfully. When we think about learning a language, we often focus on grammar, vocabulary, and the pronunciation. However, these are all of them are just tools. Language is much more than that. Language is expression. Language is connection. Language is communication. To use a language very effectively, students must not only know, but also they should feel confident using it. So this is where today's social emotional learning, SEL, comes in. In today's session, we will explore what SEL is and why it is important. And we'll talk about the four key SEL skills and how they impact students' learning experience. And also we'll talk about the practical classroom strategies and activities to integrate SEL into English teaching. So by the end of the session, you will have, hopefully, you will have some practical tools and techniques to create a classroom environment where students feel very safe and motivated and confident to express themselves in English. So, what is social emotional learning? Social emotional learning, it is a kind of holistic approach to education that focuses on developing students' ability to understand and manage their emotions and set and achieve goals. And it is also about build a positive environment, and it is also about making responsible decisions. In other words, social emotional learning SEL helps students develop emotional intelligence, self-confidence, and the social skills, which are very essential, which are very important for successful communication and the learning these days. So, learning a language, we know because we're the English language teachers, and the learning a language is different from math and the science, right? And it requires active interaction. Students need to speak, listen, and respond to others. It involves kind of sometimes fear of mistakes, because many students today are worrying about being judged or laughed at, maybe by their group mates, by their classmates, right? And also it demands self-confidence. Students must take risks by trying new phrases, new expressions. If students, lack social emotional skills, they may be afraid to speak. Even if they know the answers, they didn't raise their hands. They can they can be afraid of making mistakes. They can lots of this kind of fear, and they can lose motivations after making mistake, right? And they can struggle with teamwork in group works, maybe pair works during group activities. On the other hand, students with strong SEL skills, social emotional learning skills, students will express, they may express themselves freely without fear of making mistakes. They can stay motivated even they find learning difficult, and they can collaborate well. They can work with group mates collaboratively, helping each other. That's why, as language teachers, we English language teachers, we mustn't not only teach English, but also help students build confidence and social skills too. That's why we need today in our classrooms, we need social emotional learning skills for our learners, language learners. So why integrate SEL to our classrooms? I already mentioned it also, to improve the students' engagements, and it helps to create a positive and a safe environment, because SEL creates inclusive classrooms. It builds like resilience and skills for resolving conflicts. So now let's talk about the four key SEL competencies, skills. Let's take a close look at four essential SEL skills and explore how each one impacts students' language learning experience. The first one, self-awareness. In other words, I can say about self-awareness, it is understanding person's strengths and emotions. Self-awareness is the ability to understand one's emotions. When students are self-aware, they recognize what they are good at English, and what areas they need to improve, because they are self-aware of themselves, and they recognize how their feelings affect their learning process. For example, I want to give an example. Imagine there is one student and she's an excellent at writing, but afraid to speak in English. In front of the class, in front of the classmates. Every time she tries, she feels nervous and thinking that she will make mistakes and others will laugh at her. Yes, we can have this kind of such kind of students as well. Yes, in our classroom, and if she becomes self-aware, she will understand that her fear is normal. Her failure is normal and experienced by many language learners. And yes, she is already good at writing, and which means she has the ability to express her thoughts. Speaking is a skill can be improved through practice. Once, when she recognizes, she can focus on like overcoming her fear instead of avoiding speaking tasks. If she is self-aware, she thinks fear is normal for her. That's why. What about the teacher's role? In her classroom. Like, as teachers, we can help students identify their strengths and their weaknesses by encouraging our students to reflect on what they already do well in English, and teaching them. We should teach our learners that mistakes are very natural. It is a part of learning. And we should help our students set small achievable goals to improve step by step. And here, the first SEL skill, self-awareness, I would recommend one activity. If you want, you can take some notice. So I use this activity in my classroom as well. The activity named My Strengths and Goals. My strengths and goals. Teachers, you can ask students to write down one thing they do well in English. You can ask your students to write down one thing they do well in English. For example, they can write, I am good at writing, I am good at reading, like this. And the second thing, they need to write one thing they want to improve. One thing they want to improve. And students can write, I want to feel more comfortable speaking in class, in her example. Yes. And have, after they have written their, the strengths and the goals, one is about their strengths and one is about their goal, yes? And then after they have written, they can share their goals in pairs and discuss strategies to improve. Because collaborative is very important, social in SEL, in our classroom, social emotional learning. This activity helps students recognize their progress and stay motivated too. The next one is self-management. Self-management is the ability to control stress, is the ability to overcome fear, and is the ability to stay motivated. Many students experience anxiety. They may worry, yes, before speaking in English. And if they do not know how to manage their emotions, they might stay silent, keep silence during discussions. Maybe they might know for example, the right answers, but they want to keep silent. And they feel kind of embarrassed after making mistakes, and they give up easily when learning gets difficult, And for example, let me give another example, another student example. For example, one student is preparing for a speaking exam, and he feels very extremely nervous, and his hands kind of starts shaking. And instead of panicking, he kind of, takes a deep breath to calm himself. And he also reminds himself, mistakes are okay. Mistakes are okay. I'm learning. Mistakes is a natural, mistakes are okay, I am learning. And he also practices speaking in front of a mirror is very helpful before the test, before the speaking test. As a result, we can see that he feels more in control of his emotions and performs better because he already knows how to control his emotions, his kind of he can manage his emotions. And here, as a teacher's role, as a teacher, we should teach students techniques to reduce their anxiety, their concerns before maybe speaking tasks, maybe before some tasks, and we should encourage positive self-talk to replace negative thoughts. They should maybe one activity here is very helpful. The second SEL skill, self-management skill. Here, the activity named breath and speak. Before some tasks, maybe before speaking, let's take an example. Before speaking task, we can ask students to take 3 deep breaths, and they should say to themselves, I can do this. And also they should kind of speak first, beginning very slowly and confidently. And it is over time, students will learn how to manage their fears independently after we practicing this activity. Breath and speak. It is also very useful. So the next one is social awareness. Social awareness, it is all about respecting others' perspectives, respecting others' opinions, and cultures too, different cultures. Social awareness is the ability to, understand other people's opinions, cultures, experiences, and show empathy and respect for different backgrounds and the cultures and colors, and communicate with kindness, patience, and open-mindedness. This skill is very essential in language learning because English is an international language, and students must learn to respect different opinions and communicate effectively with people from different cultures too. And a social aware student, would understand that everyone learns at their own space. And the social awareness students would encourage classmates instead of just criticizing them. They should encourage their classmates to talk to them, and they should respect different ways of speaking English. For example, the accents can be different, yes, and the expressions, the way of expressions may be different, and they should respect different ways of speaking English. And here, teacher's role, in the social awareness skill, teacher's role, we must create very classroom culture where students support each other instead of judging each other. We should teach students about different cultures and the communication styles in English-speaking countries. Yes, we should encourage students to listen to each other very actively and respectfully. And we should create activities that help to promote teamwork and cooperation. We should instill them. Cooperation is very important, listening to each other. Yes. And here I would recommend the one activity to social awareness skill. The activity named is walk in their shoes. Walk in their shoes. For example, as we can assign each student's kind of fictional identity from another country. For example, I can assign one student, you are Maria from, for example, Italy, you are Tom from Canada, like this, from different cultures and different names. So, and we can ask them to introduce themselves and talk about their countries, cultures, and also we can encourage like classmates to ask questions respectfully because they are doing the role plays and they are from different backgrounds, different cultures, and they are assigned roles, and discuss. They can discuss their cultural differences. So this activity helps students practice English while learning to appreciate different cultures, different perspectives, different opinions as well. So the last one is relationship skills. So here, relationship skills help students work effectively in teams. It can be in pairs, in groups, yes, and that they express their ideas clearly, respectfully. They listen to each other actively, and they resolve conflicts peacefully. Strong relationship skills are very essential in a group work, peer discussion, and the classroom interaction too. Here, teacher's role, the relationship skills, teacher's role as teachers, we must teach students how to express their opinions politely. And also, we should encourage them to listen very actively and respectfully, avoiding just interrupting them. And we should create tasks where students work together and solve problems as a team. Here, I use one activity, great activity, Lost in the Jungle. Lost in the Jungle. Uh, the activity, it's very interesting and it requires to talk to each other because in this activity we can tell the students they are stranded in a jungle and they must choose five just only five survival items from a list from a list, and in groups they must discuss and agree on the best five survival items to survive in the jungle, and they must listen to each other because they have to. If they don't have to, they cannot make a decision and justify because after they have chosen the five survival items, they have to justify the items. Why? Those need for surviving and make a final decision together. This activity improves students' ability to discuss ideas and work as a team, and all in English. All in English. It is a very crucial. So now we have discussed it for SEL skills and let's talk about let's explore how teachers can integrate SEL into language lessons effectively. So first of all, we need to create a safe and a supportive environment. Students will only speak in English if they feel very safe from judgment by laughed at by someone, and never laugh at students' mistakes. And we should encourage a classroom culture where students support each other. They should listen actively. They should listen respectfully, and we should use also positive language. Positive language, great, for example, great effort, well done. Instead of just saying that is not right or you are wrong, like instead of just saying like this, we should use a positive language. Positive language. Keep going. Great job. Well done. And use role playing and real life scenarios is very useful in SEL. Students learn best when they use English in meaningful situations, creating role plays based on real life situations, ordering food, maybe asking for directions, maybe job interviews, like here empathy interviews, because it is also based on real life situations, emotion, harmonize, collaborative stories. They are like really based on real life scenarios, and students may learn better when they know the language, the topic in the kind of meaningfully. They can use in real life situations here. And we should give students a purpose for speaking, so they feel motivated too. So, and also we should also teach emotional vocabulary Like we should teach words related to emotions and feelings. The students should know these words. They should know the emotional words and they can say freely. For example, I am excited. I feel nervous. They should know these words and they can say their emotions freely and independently. Wouldn't just like instead of being too shy or maybe instead of making mistakes, they can freely express themselves. And uh, and also as a teacher we use this kind of, the emotional words, before we start our lessons. For example, from in my classroom I can start these words: how are you feeling today? I always ask this: how are you feeling today? And my students response maybe different in every class. They feel maybe a little bit tired, maybe they are very excited, they are happy, they are maybe tired, bored. If many of them, for example, if many of my students feel kind of bored or maybe tired, I needed, I have to I have to use another approaches, maybe accept my lesson plan too. Because the very important thing for me, my students should feel more comfortably, and and also here teacher's role, we talked a lot about teacher's role. Supportive environment, teachers should model empathy because we need to be modeling first of all, and the respect and the emotional regulation for students, and also we should use positive language. I mentioned it. And assessing SEL progress. Here it is very important because by informal observations, during the class, we have this kind of informal observations, and in our minds, we can track students' interactions, maybe, yes, and we can use journals to track growth. It is a kind of self-reflection for them. And peer feedback is very good because learning is more powerful when students reflect on their progress. And for example, after the speaking task and maybe speaking activities, we can ask students to reflect: what did I do well? What can I improve? It is a self-reflection. And also here peer feedback, we should encourage also peer feedback using sentence like, I like it how you, for example, describe it. The students also can give the feedbacks to each other's tasks, performance, maybe, yes. Next time, maybe they can suggest to each other's work as well, yes. For example, next time, try to like these phrases they can use. And by integrating social emotional learning, SEL, into English lessons, we help students develop not only English, but also confidence to express themselves. We should we do not only teach English, but also empathy to understand different perspectives, different opinions. And we should also to develop teamwork skills. teamwork skills to collaborate effectively. Remember, language is not just something students learn. It is something they use. They use to connect to the world. It is not a language. They use the language to connect the world. And when students feel safe and supported and here important emotionally strong, they learn faster and communicate better. As teachers, we have the power to not only teach English, but also build students' self-confidence as well. And the social skills for life. Social skills is very important in the future life as well, yes? So let's make our classrooms a place where every student feels safe and supported and valued and heard and inspired to speak. You know, so I think I am finishing, and now I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you. So I have two questions for this audience. First of all, thank you for everyone for joining us today during Ramadan time, Ramadan month. Thank you very much. We appreciate your valuable time. And I now we want to hear from you, from your valuable experience in your classroom. The first questions, how do you already use SEL in your teaching? And the next questions, which new strategy, because I am examining you, which new strategy will you try in your classroom? Maybe if you want, you can write on our chat box. Maybe you can turn on your microphone and
Yeah.
speak up.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Thank you, Gulkhan, for such an informative session. Yes, and now we can open the floor for questions. Yes, of course, Ugilkhon, we can address your questions. You have already addressed it, and you can, dear participants, you can also answer it in the chat box, and you can also answer it on our Facebook page, where we will upload our today's session soon. So that's okay. And you can also as well on our platform on Open Central Asia Interest Community. And if you have any questions for Ugilkhon, please share in the chat box, and our moderator, Nadra Kushpaka, will ask Ugilkhon, address your questions to Ugilkhon. Nadra, are you here? Ugilkhon, could you please unshare your screen?
Yes.
Thank you. Great. Now dear participants, you can ask your question in the chat box, and our moderator, Nadra Kushpakova, will address your questions to Ugilkhon Kakilova.
Hi, Mr. Yerkin, your microphone turned off.
Yeah.
So I am
Any question
reading
in
the
chat
chat.
box, Nadra?
Yes. On the chat box, Miss Tatiana wrote, I will use a mirror activity when teaching public speaking. Thank you for the idea. Yes, I also like it, the mirror activity, and also very helpful breath and speak, before the public speaking, maybe before the speaking activity, the students should take 3 deep breaths, and then they can start, because I think it always works for my students, because after taking 3 deep breaths, they have kind of already kind of self-confidence, and they will be ready.
Yes, great. Thank you.
Thank you, Tatiana.
Any other questions in the chat box, Nadra?
Well, I haven't got
Any
any
comments?
questions so
Any
far.
comments?
I hope our colleagues will address to our soon.
That's okay. If we don't have any questions, that's okay. Dear participants, you can ask your questions as I mentioned it before in the on our Facebook page on Open Central Asia Interest Community. Okay, let's move. I'm going to make some announcements. Let me share the screen.
Yerkin, you are please unmute yourself.
Oh,
Unmute yourself.
yeah. Sorry. Yes. As we conclude today's webinar, I'm excited to share some important events and opportunities regarding the upcoming months. As we are closing the months of CEL, and Ugilkhon might we have 2 more days. Maybe Ugilkhon might share some information on Open Central Asia. It's up to her. And April will be dedicated to the theme of feedback and assessment, led by our expert Mubarak Hazratkulova from Uzbekistan. So that's going to be very interesting. So throughout the months, she will be sharing insightful posts on this crucial topic. Additionally, she will be hosting a webinar on April 25th, where she will delve deeper into feedback and assessment strategies. Furthermore, we have 2 more exciting webinars lined up for April. April 11th, a webinar with Ambreen Salman on the frame of the Open Global Insight segment. And her topic is use of the latest AI tools in language learning. And Ambreen Salman is going to host the webinar April 11th, and she's from Pakistan. April 18th, another great webinar with Zeynep Suleymankulova in the frame of special webinar segment, and her topic is think, write, reflect, effective strategies for generating and organizing ideas in writing. And please mark these 3 important webinars on your calendar. And of course, we are going to invite all our dear alumni to apply for these segments as well. And we have another segment like the Central Asia Voices Alumni Spotlight, Educator Connect special webinar, guest expert to be our guest expert. And you can also share your teaching tips, and they will be highlighted on Open Central Asia Interest Community and on Facebook, on our Facebook page. And our chat moderator, Nadra Kushpakova, has already shared all the links and all the links for application for these segments. And you can see links as well on the screen. Links for Facebook page and YouTube channel. Well, wow, that was a great webinar. Again, I would like to thank our presenter, our guest expert for the month of March, Ugilkhon Kakilova from Uzbekistan. Thank you, Ugilkhon, for your informative session, for sharing your expertise on this crucial topic, social emotional learning. Thank you once again for joining us today, dear participants. We appreciate your participation and look forward to seeing you in our upcoming sessions. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.